Afternoon, everyone. Mike here from Infinity Air Heating and Cooling. We got a quick little video on installing control voltage wiring, or connecting, I should say, connecting control voltage wiring, and the method I like to do. And there's a bunch of different ways. There's a lot of wrong ways. There's a lot of right ways. There's not too many wrong or right ways when it's done correctly, but just techniques are techniques, and everyone has their own. And I have one that I follow, that I have for a long time, because I've had too many problems with just wires touching, arcing, popping little fuses that come with them, because these things are not very big wires. They're pretty easy to, accidentally nick a case, and then casing, and then there's so many together that the probability of them touching together is pretty significant. So here's a quick little idea on how I do what I do. So what I do is, obviously, I have the wire kind of long, and I got my wire strippers, and I'll go down a little ways on the line, and I'll strip the casing off of the wire. And now that I have the casing off the wire, it comes with a little white, or sometimes brown or gold, whatever, string. This string is designed to pull and strip down the wire. But you see how difficult that is to pull when it's that short? That's the direct reasoning why I like to strip a decent amount of wire to where you got room to be able to grab a hold of that. Now you can just pull that, strip that right down the wire. See how easy that was? So that 8 cents worth of wire, it's just not worth it to me to struggle with it, when you can literally just come down here, strip that back, pull that off, and now you can strip that down. So the other technique, the actual technique that I like to do is, obviously I have that amount of wire, but right where I ran the wire strippers on there, you can be real cautious, real careful, barely strip the wire, just tugs it, pull it off, all the whatever you want to do to say you do it, to where you don't damage the casing. But the guarantee way you don't really damage the casing is where you strip that. We're just going to get rid of that wire, and now look at that, we're right below that, and voila, now we have our good quality set of wire, which will get rid of the outside casing there and the string, so the string don't pull away. And just like that, we have our stripped wire, and guaranteed non-nicked casings. So it's just a simple way to really 100% fully guarantee that you don't have any nicks in any of your casings, and that you didn't, where you stripped it here, over time this wire will never vibrate and rub that wire, because there's the tiniest of all nicks in it, and then eventually it rubs through, whatever. It's not an option, it's literally not possible. So I guess while we're here as well, since that concludes that, since we're here as well, talk a quick little bit about what the wiring is on this. You can use any color for anything you want, but typically the blue is for your common side of your 24 volt power, your red is your 24 volt power, yellow is your call for cooling, otherwise known as putting on the Y circuit. The W is the call for heating, so otherwise known as putting it on the W circuit. When it's a heat pump, this goes on auxiliary, not on when you're on thermostat, not on the W on the thermostat. Otherwise your heat strips will run all the time while your air conditioner is running, and you don't want that. So Y2, or W2, I'm sorry, W2 when you're heat pump. Furnaces, this goes right on W. So orange is your reversing valve. This can be energized in cooling or heating. It's an O or a B. So most all the equipment out there energize in cooling, and so this will mostly be O. Rheem and Rude products actually energize theirs in heating, so you would switch that to B. But this is your reversing valve wire. This is your fan, your G circuit, which is calls just the fan, so call for fan. And then these two can be used for pretty much dry sets of contacts, where you can use an outdoor sensor, you can use a second stage. If you have 2 stage of cooling, you can engage the second stage of cooling. You can engage the outdoor sensor to the thermostat. Some like Lennoxes, if you do two-stage Lennox, the Y circuit actually has to go from the thermostat all the way out here to the outdoor unit, connect to your cooling circuit, and then from your cooling circuit, which actually your Y1 is already connected, so it'd have to come all the way from your thermostat. This is for second stage cooling if you have a two-stage outdoor heat pump Lennox. So Y2 would come out here and you would need to land on your black and then bring it back up to the air handler. Silly, but you know, that's why they say Lennox is the best or whatever, because you know, you got to do 35 miles of wiring for no apparent reason. It's because it's the best or whatever. So that's a neat little snippet you'd learn the hard way if you did a two-stage Lennox, where you literally had to bring the wire all the way out to the condenser and then back from the condenser up to the air handler to engage the second stage. Trained to that for a while too, but so you need a lot of wiring. So, but anyway, in our case, you know, we ain't gonna use those. We also don't have a fan circuit out here. This is just for the air handler or the furnace and to the thermostat. So if you don't want to run, you know, air conditioning or heating or anything like that, you just want to circulate air through the house, this is the wire it would energize through. So since we won't be using that in the outdoor unit, I got a phone call there while I was on the phone, but since we won't be energizing this in the outdoor unit, I won't be using that either. So these wires would be good in the event you ever have a short in one of these wires. You can then just use these to you know, change a wire. So I don't ever get rid of them completely. I just kind of run them around here and keep them for a possible future ever use that may need to be. But happens, especially down here in the Carolinas. The sun is pretty tough on this wiring. It breaks down the casing. There's also a lot of people that like to use weed eaters, and you know, down here in the Carolinas, they really like to not support anything or strap anything or put anything in that really lasts. So they don't never really put any hangers on it or put the thermostat wiring in such a manner that it would you know, not get destroyed very easily by pretty much every single element out there. But that's kind of a Carolina exclusive, I've noticed, from all the places I've been doing this type of stuff. But what we like to do is, as you can see, you know, we tie it all together. The liquid line dryer is, you know, tucked nicely, the whip is tucked nicely, and thermostat, it's almost like where's Waldo, because thermostat wire is definitely there, and it comes up, definitely comes up from, you know, outside underneath, but where is it? And where it is tucked very nicely out of the way and out behind the whip, ta-da, and out underneath. And then it goes, the other reason I like to put the liquid line dryer like that, and or the other line that's there, is because I tuck it up in between the whip and the line dryer and the line set, so that way it stays not only hidden but also really well protected, you know, just out of the way. So it's very difficult to actually get to it, especially the sun. And look at that. Now guess what? Now without the sun, guess what? The sun doesn't destroy it. Ta-da! I know it's like magic, but I don't know, whatever. So anyway, to finish off this little series, there's also the fact that I am a little OCD about the wiring, and you can see how my wiring is pretty much guaranteed not to have any nicks. So that leads me to the factory wiring, which I also never trust. So the very first thing I do when I get wiring, especially if it's already stripped, is restrip it and go ahead and do it on my own there. So that way I know there's no accidental bum machine. You know, whoever came in that day, you know, did, you know, 7,000 of these things, stripped 7,000 wires. So they you know, potential of missing one is kind of high, so I just you know, don't allow that to happen and make sure that I have good, clean, pretty connections at all times. So that's today's little snippet. And if you have any other questions, comments, ideas, or any questions about this wiring or anything, more than welcome to comment or ask any questions. You can go to our website and ask any questions. We have a whole Q&A right on our actual Google site. So if you wanted to just go on Google on our listing, you can ask any question you want on there, and it'll go directly to us. We also have a DIY section we're building on our website where it'll link specifically to this YouTube channel. And so if you have any specific questions about a specific piece of equipment, you can always go to our website and check out some of the stuff that we have there, and then search here to find out that specific piece of equipment. And if we've worked on it or if we've messed with it, it'll be there, and you'll see it. If not, then of course you can always ask, and we can always see if we can do a video and see if we can do something about it. Or we can also try to answer questions or walk you through it. So until next time, stay cool to infinity.